What is up? It is Tuesday. We got a full slate of NHL games, and that means a whole bunch of things. And one of those bunch of things is that we're going to be taking on the house over at No House Advantage. If you haven't done that before, let me tell you a little bit about it. No House Advantage, it's a new platform that combines fantasy and player props, and it makes it very easy to use. It shows you a player, shows you a prop, and you click over or under. You get a bunch of those right, you win money. Doesn't that sound nice? That was easy. Remember that button? Well, there are two types of contests. There's a versus the house contest. That's what we're taking part in right now, where if you get 5 player props correct, you make 21 times your money. Doesn't have to be just the NHL. Like, we're going to give you NHL picks, but you can do 3 from the NHL, 2 from the NBA. You can mix and match, and as long as you get 5 right, you make 21 times your money. There's also a pick'em contest. That's tournament style. And the more that you get right in that type of contest, the higher you rise in the standings and get closer to the top prize. And for a limited time, you go over to No House Advantage using the link in the description of this video. They're going to match your first deposit up to $100. Put in 100, you get 100. And if that's not enough, No House Advantage offers the highest payouts on 4-player and 5-player parlays. And if I know something about most of you people, is that you don't do anything under 4-player and 5-player parlays. So if you're gonna do them, you may as well go to the site that gives you the best odds on those 4-player and 5-player parlays, which is No House Advantage. So some of the picks that I'm gonna start with here today, we're looking at that Ranger game. The Rangers, they've been mixing and matching, splitting up their power plays. They've honestly looked pretty bad since Patrick Kane has joined the team. It's not that surprising that when you integrate 2 new top 6 forwards into an offense, there may be a little period where things are a little bumpy, and they were going through that bumpy period. Managed to sneak a couple of wins in the process. But I think they're going to come home and have a pretty good game. They need a good effort. I think they need a statement performance that this thing is not derailed like many people are suggesting that it is. I think at home against the Capitals, who are an extremely beatable team, remember they sold off a bunch of their pieces, I think many of the Rangers are in a get-right spot tonight. One is Chris Kreider. He scored a big goal against the Penguins the other day, and I'm going to look for him to continue that at home. Give me the over half of a point for Chris Kreider. You honestly can use him or Tarasenko. I like either of them in that Rangers game. Now I'm going to look at the Jets game versus Carolina. Carolina, they've been shut out in 2 straight games, and they just lost Svechnikov for the rest of the year. At least that's most likely what happened. So I believe personally that Carolina is going to default to what they know best now, and that's full lockdown defense. I think you're looking at a bunch of 3-1, 2-1, 1-goal, low-scoring games from Carolina. I think they're going to cater their roster and team the way that Minnesota does. And I guess Aho will be like their Kaprizov, even though Kaprizov has, more of an offensive upside than Aho does. But I think you're going to get some shutdown defense, which is why I'm going to take the under on Nikolai Ehlers, who's kind of having somewhat of a down year. Actually, he's definitely having a down year. But when you're a team like Carolina who plays great defense and you're on home ice, which means you have the benefit of last change, you can get all the matchups you want, I think that they're going to be able to shut down most of Winnipeg's offense. And I'm going to be looking at that Islanders-Kings game. Islanders have been struggling offensively. It makes sense. You lose Barzal, and they've catered their whole game around defense. We're only able to score 1 goal last game. And I'm looking for Anders Lee to stay under a point or under half of a point against the LA Kings. They have a makeshift top line, and ever since Barzal has left that top line, it's been relatively inconsistent. Now, they had a little bit of an outburst against Pittsburgh, but Pittsburgh is not very stellar defensively. I'm going to take the under half of a point for Anders Lee against the LA Kings. And then lastly, give me the over half of a point for Jonathan Huberdeau, who had a good night the other night. Miserable year, but in this recent stretch of games, he seems to be finding a little bit of his offensive groove. He had some great passes on that power play the other night, was able to get himself a couple of points. Even the game before that, in that disappointing loss to Anaheim, found himself in some prime scoring opportunities, just wasn't able to bury one of them. But I kind of like when someone like Jonathan Huberdeau, who had over 100 points last season, is kind of in an offensive groove. I try to tail offensive grooves, and I think Huberdeau on the road against Arizona, where Calgary played very well last time, and they've been playing well on the road for the most part throughout the course of the season. seems like most of their trouble comes on home ice for whatever reason. But regardless, I'm going to take the over half of a point for Jonathan Huberdeau, and those are the picks that I got for you here on this Tuesday as we try to take on the house and net 21 times our money. I will be back with you Thursday for another full slate as we do this once again. Good luck to you. Better luck to me. I will see you then, and make sure, obviously, you're subscribed to the Odd Shopper channel so you know the next time one of these videos pops. Take it easy.